Occupy a new land around Syria, Judea, and Palestine.
Here, Nostradamus is referring to the creation of the Israeli state. But he goes much further than that.
The great barbarian empire will crumble before the century of the sun is finished.
Israel will be victors in this long-running war, and it will be finished by the end of the century of the sun, the name given to the 20th century.
No more war, peace, real peace, and forever.
Another striking quatrain relevant to our times.
Rain, famine, war in Persia having not ceased, too great a fate shall betray the monarch. Being ended there, it shall commence in France, a secret omen to one that he shall die.
This is a startling prediction, giving outstanding detail of the war in Persia, the ancient name for Iran. But let us examine it carefully.
Too great a faith shall betray the monarch. It shall commence in France.
Until recently, the majority of people did not know who the Ayatollah was, let alone that he would launch his coup from Paris. Yet Nostradamus, 400 years before, predicted it. Within weeks of leaving Paris, the Ayatollah had completed a total political and cultural revolution in Iran.
All too much? Let's pause a moment. This is the year 1979, and we've just examined 400 years of history in the light of the prophecies of Nostradamus. Now, we're dealing with the present and the future, which brings us to what, for us, is the essence of the mystery. How accurate is he? Can we dismiss this as just another fad, or is there some credibility? If we believe what he said about our past, then there's a fair chance that what he said about our future is true also. And if that's the case, then we must listen very carefully. For Nostradamus, as he said, provides us with a warning. He does give us this hope. We can change our destiny, but we must heed the warning and act accordingly. For if we ignore it, we may not be around to remember how accurate he was. So now, the future. What does Nostradamus tell us will happen? Essentially, the prediction is war. A third world war that will be nuclear and far worse than all other wars put together.
One that shall cause the infernal gods of Hannibal to live again, the terror of mankind. Never more horror nor the papers tell of worse in the past. And in the last era, all the kingdoms of Christianity and also all unbelievers shall quake for the space of years, and there shall be more grievous wars and battles. Towns, cities, castles, and other buildings shall be burnt, desolated, and destroyed. Married women and widows ravished. Sucking children dashed against the walls of towns, and so many evils shall be committed by the means of that infernal prince, Satan, that almost the entire world shall be undone and desolate.
So Nostradamus predicts the Third World War. What's so startling about that, you say? People have been predicting a third world war ever since the second one finished. All right. But Nostradamus, who wrote this 400 years ago, also gives us the year and the signs to look for. He tells us who will be fighting and why, and suggests there will be occurrences of unprecedented natural disasters such as floods, famine, and earthquakes, and tells us exactly when and where these events will take place. He assembles a powerful jigsaw puzzle, the eventual pattern of which cannot be denied. So let's take the pieces of that puzzle one by one. I might warn you that from now on the subject matter will not be very comfortable, but as the thinking creations of this universe, perhaps we have an obligation to protect it and consider any warnings to that end. Remember, these warnings are not the opinions of the producers of this program, but interpretations of Nostradamus, based on facts available today. If we are to have a war, we must ask ourselves 5 questions. When? Where? Who will be fighting? How long will it last? And who will survive? First we ask when, and although there are several hints left by Nostradamus, there are 2 which are quite clear and must be considered side by side. One, it could be as early as 1981, and the other stating quite clearly that the war will be well underway by 1999.
In the year 1999 and 7 months, from the sky will come the great king of terror. He will bring back to life the great king of the Mongols. Before and after, war reigns happily.
Our second quatrain is unanimously understood as an Arab invasion of Europe, and the date, although obscure, can be determined by means of astrology.
The king enters Europe wearing a blue turban. He will reign for less than a revolution of Saturn. The king with a white turban, his heart banished to Byzantium, Sun, Mars, and Mercury near Aquarius.
These regular conjunctions can be predicted, and they do occur very regularly, but they don't occur frequently. The Sun, Mars, Mercury, and Aquarius will be together in 1981 in February. Actually, on the 4th of February, the moon will be passing in front of the sun. We'll get